Hello and welcome to Charlton Collegiate Academy's virtual open event. This year we're having to run things very differently because of the unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in with COVID. And in order to keep everybody safe, we're trying to arrange a series of events and put them together so that you can find out more about our school through our website and through the information that we are putting up there to promote the way the school works. Charlton is a wonderful school and a very vibrant community, and at this point in time the staff and students here are working very well together in order to keep everybody safe. And I want to give you a flavour of how the school is working so that you can understand what it might be like should your child and should you choose to apply to Charlton and are successful in getting a place here. There is a very difficult question that you have to ask yourselves and that you have to answer, and that is, why choose Charlton Collegiate Academy? Any principal that you speak to or head teacher will tell you that their school is the best, and I'm no different. I will tell you that Charlton is the best school in the borough, and what I will try and do over these next few slides is explain to you why I believe that is actually the case and why I believe that to be true. And hopefully at the end of this you'll be in a strong position to be able to choose Charlton as the school for your child next year. So Charlton is Ofsted outstanding and has been since 2013. However, we have been outstanding on two previous occasions as well. So our last three Ofsted inspections have all been outstanding. Now, you may say, well, you haven't been viewed since 2013, so how can you be certain that things are still as good as they were back then? Well, one of the things that Ofsted do is they keep a very close eye on the standards within the school and at the key performance indicators such as the number of exclusions, your educational outcomes and your attendance. And if there are significant dips in any of those, then that will trigger Ofsted to come in and inspect you again. However, one of the things that I am pleased about is the Ofsted's ability to come and look at outstanding schools is coming back in, because they weren't allowed to come and look at us as long as our indicators continue to be high, which they have at Charlton. But that ability to come and visit schools is being reinstated, and I'm really looking forward to them coming back and seeing the work that has taken place in the intervening years and how much we have improved and how much the school has continued to develop and grow. So what did they say when they last came? Well, one of the things they have said about the school is that it is an exceptional school, and it is very unusual for Ofsted to say that. They normally start with this is an outstanding school or this is a good school. But our HMI at the time wanted to show that actually we were beyond outstanding and that Charlton is an exceptional academy. Now, one of the things that contributes to that are the standards that we maintain. And over that period, we have continued to maintain and build on and develop our standards. And one of the things that families are always keen to know about is what is the behaviour of students like. Now, Ofsted had said the behaviour of students in lessons and around the academy is impeccable. Now, that I believe has continued. That's very keen to me, because behaviour is the building blocks on which the school is grown. It's the foundation. If behaviour isn't strong, teaching and learning can't take place, the extracurricular activities can't happen, attendance is poor because children don't want to be in school. But our attendance is strong, our number of exclusions, either permanent or fixed term, are both low, and therefore I know that the school is strong. Our educational outcomes continue to be among the best in the borough, and therefore I know the school is still in a strong place. Teaching is outstanding. So again, Ofsted recognised that the quality of teaching and learning in the academy is very strong, and it has continued to be so. And again, I make those judgments because I go in and see lessons regularly, and I'm always in and around the school and in classrooms. However, educational outcomes are a key aspect of that. Students at Charlton have made outstanding progress over the last few years. For most of the last 5 years, we have been the school that had the highest progress figures in the borough, and we continue to be in the top two. Now, I want to maintain that, and my aim is to make sure that Charlton is the best school in the borough, and educational outcomes are the key aspects of that. They give the students the opportunity to move on to the next phase of their education and to have choices. The better the outcomes are, the more choice the children will have. And so I want to make sure that we maintain that, and the quality of teaching is the first step in that. I am very fortunate to have a very dedicated group of teachers. And the fact that we are a teaching school and that we train our own teachers means that I have developed a group of teachers here who have trained with us, who have grown up with us, and who understand what it is to be outstanding and what it means to work at a school like Charling, where the expectations are so high for our students. And I'm very fortunate that the teaching body that we have absolutely strive to do that and be the best that they can be, so the students get the best that they can and get the best that they deserve. We have got a highly ambitious group of teachers who want the best for their students, and that's depicted in the educational outcomes. And as you can see here, our progress figures are strong and they continue to be strong. Now, there is this last set of results has been a very difficult set of results because the students haven't sat their exams, but as you can see, we have continued to develop. I made sure that our staff went about this in a fair and rigorous way, and that it showed the trajectory of travel that we have been on. And I believe that these set of results are a true reflection of the results that the children would have achieved had they sat the exams. And talking to you about sixth form might seem strange at this point, but it is important because you will see how quickly your child's primary experience has moved. And the 5 years that they spend with us in Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 will fly past. And it's great to know that our sixth form continues to develop and continues to be one of the strongest sixth forms in the borough. Our results again have shown that the children make good progress when they're with us, and we continue to make sure that that will happen. Our sixth form is growing. We now have 250 children in our sixth form, and we plan to grow that to over 300. And what I want you to understand is there is the possibility of your child finishing the last 2 phases of public education at Charling. Attendance. This is a key indicator for me, because if the children aren't happy at school and if they're not engaged in their learning, then the first thing that they do is vote with their feet. They won't come to school. So the fact that our attendance is over the national average at 96.4% means that the children want to be here. And therefore that tells me that the service that we provide for them, the education that they get, the extracurricular opportunities, the level of engagement in school is strong, and the children are happy here. We've got a very strong student leadership program here, where the children meet with me and senior staff regularly to talk about their experiences, but also to talk about what they want to see happening at the academy. And then we can develop our practice, because it is all fine and well me being the person who sets the tone for what happens in the school, but it is a very long time now since I was in the children's shoes at the academy, and it's important that they tell me what developments they'd like to see in the academy, and then we can make decisions together about the impact that that might have on the quality of teaching and learning, or the impact that it has on their whole experience in school. Because the school is more than just attendance, it's more than just lessons, it is about that whole package, that experience. We're trying to develop young people who will go out into our community and serve our community well, and that's more than understanding their academic achievements, it's also understanding the role that they play within society. And to that end, these are our missions and our values and what we aim to do for the children. So the 3 on the left hand side, leading, learning, changing attitudes and promoting cohesion, those are what I want my staff to do, and I want them to do it with the children and for the children. But the outcomes of that then should be that if we manage to lead learning, then the children will believe that they are and deserve the same as every other child in the country, and therefore they will aim higher. They will aim to be better. They will aim to be the best version of themselves that they can be. Now, we aim to do that by innovating in our practice, and Charling is one of the most, if not the most innovative school in the borough, and certainly in the country. We have a national reputation for how we innovate our practice and how we utilise technology to accelerate and to support learning. I want our staff to change the attitudes of the children, to make them understand what they are capable of and what they can influence, not just in our locality, but in our region and nationally and internationally, and therefore they see further, they see what they are capable of, they see how they can impact and change not just our school, their locality, but how collectively they can impact on the national vision. I want our staff to promote cohesion. One of the real strengths of our school is that we are a multicultural community. And that brings a lot of opportunities for us to understand the need for tolerance and respect amongst each other, but more importantly, for us to be able to show the students how culturally we are different and how those differences make us stronger and that they don't divide us. And therefore, I want the student to be concerned for others. And we do that by collaborating and sharing our experiences and working together to make the changes that we need, again, at a school level, but also at a community and at a regional level. And I guess this is the way that I have tried to put that vision for the children and put that mission statement into a vision for what I hope the students will achieve. And I hope you take the time to read this and to look at it so that you get a real flavour for what I want. But it isn't just about academic success. It's about the children feeling that school serves the purpose that they want. It serves them so that they can become the young person and eventually the adult that they want to be, and that will lead towards success for them later in life. So how do we go about doing this? So student support. It is really important that we support students and that we support them in many, many ways. And that support is an all-encompassing phrase. It can be academic support, it can be behaviour support. It now has to include mental health support and physical health support, and understanding the impact that that has on them all. But at this point, I just want to talk about behaviour. So this is something that families and students are really concerned about in the transition from primary to secondary school. We are a big school. We will be close to 1,500 students on our campus by 2021, and that worries some children. But what I want to do is to reassure you that behaviour at the academy is outstanding. And how do we achieve that, and how do I have the confidence to say that to you? Well, I employ a group of 9 non-teaching staff in the academy, and their role is to support behaviour, but also to be available to deal with it instantly. In lots of schools, behaviour is run by teachers and heads of year who have to put it to one side whilst they go and teach. And I very much believe that I employ teachers to teach, and so I employ a group of people to support behaviour. Now, teachers' responsibility is around behaviour in their classroom. But if a student puts himself or finds himself in a situation where they are stopping the learning of others, then my team from BMS, Behaviour Management Services, will be available to support that student. It may mean removal from a lesson and a discussion with them about why their behaviour is unacceptable. And it will then be about a very swift imposition of a sanction, whatever level that may be, and then a quick return to learning. I don't want children out of learning. I want them in the classroom where they can learn. And if a child has to be removed from a lesson for any particular reason, we are now developing a process whereby they still access their learning remotely, and we stream their lessons live to them in whatever area they may be of the BMS, so that they can still access their learning, so that there isn't this feeling that if I misbehave, it gets me out of having to be in my lesson. That's no longer the case. Technology allows us to make sure that learning continues regardless of whether they have had to be removed from the classroom. And therefore, they will realise that their experience of learning is much better if they are with their group. They don't need to be away from the lesson. They should be in there with their children, engaging in collaborative learning. So that wraparound team of non-teachers ensures that issues are dealt with quickly, but equally, issues outside of the class, students know the staff who are going to be there, and they know that they have the ability to deal with incidents quickly. If any head teacher tells you that bullying isn't an issue in their school, then they're just not being honest with you. Bullying is an issue in every school, but the confidence that I get from the fact that children will come and talk to us and be clear with us about the difference between bullying and a falling out issue, or where they're falling out with their friends and their friends are being nasty to them, and the fact that we're able to deal with that swiftly means that the children understand the difference between bullying and falling out, but it also means that they're more likely to come and talk to us about any issues that they have, because they see the people, they're out there at break in lunchtime, they can approach them discreetly for a conversation, they're on the corridors, they're in the classrooms, and therefore they're a friendly face, and those staff are there to help, to support them to deal with any issues that they have. So I'm not saying there is no bullying at Shireland. What I am saying is, if a bullying situation occurs, that we have the ability to deal with it swiftly before it comes out of hand. And that quite often in schools, the delay means that an incident where children fall out, the delay in dealing with it means that that becomes bullying. And what we're able to do is, before it becomes a bullying situation, that falling out, that being nasty to each other, we can deal with that as a situation in itself. However, I am also very, very clear that there are some non-negotiables within our school. So I will not tolerate anybody fighting in my academy. And you run the risk of being permanently excluded if you decide to turn a disagreement into a physical event. I will not tolerate anybody smoking, bringing drugs, or anything else into my academy. And if you do bring any banned items into the academy, you run the absolute risk of being permanently excluded and of police being involved in. And because our students know that, we have had no incidents of any of that within the last 2 years. So students understand the situation and understand the standards and understand that there are staff there who can deal with it and who will deal with these these situations quickly. So I am confident that your child will be safe when they come here and will enjoy academic life at Shireland. And we also know that with a range of difficulties that children face in modern society, that sometimes we don't have the expertise in school to deal with children's needs. So if children come and talk to us about the issues that they're facing, then we have got a series of groups that we can go and work with, that we have partnerships with, that we can either get to come into the academy to deal with situations and support the children, or that we can refer children to and refer families to. So student support is a key focus, because I know we're well adept at developing academic success, but sometimes the support that children need are a barrier to them accessing learning, and so I want to be able to remove those as quickly and as efficiently as I can. Now, I hope the majority of you will not need to access any of these, but I want to reassure you that should situations change or come about, that we deal with these swiftly and that we deal with them very, very effectively. And again, just to show you that school isn't just about academic success, I want opportunities for our children to be the best that they can be. And the way that we do that is not just to work with anybody. I'm very picky and choosy about who I bring in to work with your child or to work with our children, because I don't want them to just be good. I want them to be world class. And so where possible, we deal with world leaders in it. So our partnerships, which I'll show you on the next slide, are all with world leaders in their field. They're not just people who are good at what they do, they're people who are outstanding at what they do. So we deal with people like the Hippodrome, we deal with people like Formula One, we deal with Apps for Good, who are an international company. We deal with Microsoft Education, they're one of our key partners. But we create those opportunities and we bring the best to come in to talk to our children. Because if I want to raise their aspirations, if I want them to see further and make sure that they can go out and be the best that they can be, or if I want them to collaborate, to be concerned for everybody, I want to show them who are the best in the world at doing that, and that's what they aspire to. And therefore we see developments in their ability and in their belief of what they are capable of affecting. And so bringing people in to work with them is really, really important. And these are the world leaders who come in to work with our children at Shireland and who have contributed to the success that we have. And we are, in terms of developing the processes and procedures that some people like Ofsted and the Department of Education have, they come to us to ask us our opinion and to help us, and for us to help them develop some of the policies and processes. And they wouldn't do that if they didn't believe that we were one of the best at innovation in the region and in the country. And so that gives me great confidence again that what we're doing is the best that it can be. We work with the National Youth Orchestra, and again, this is a national company who have chosen to come and work with us because they've seen the quality of the arts, the quality of our environment. And I hope at some point, and I know at some point, you'll get an opportunity to virtually see around the school, and I hope that you see our theatre and our arts facilities, because they're absolutely central to what we do. They develop confidence for children, they show them what they're capable of, and by bringing in people like the National Youth Orchestra, who bring their orchestra here for a week each year and do their training and developing of their orchestra, but then expose our children to it with flash flash performances in the playground or into classrooms and so on. It creates such a great atmosphere around school, and that's really important, that children are exposed to the best so that they believe that they can be the best that they can be. And in order to give them the opportunities to do that, there are over 50 after-school clubs that take place each week at Shireland. Now, during the current pandemic, we're having to do those slightly differently, but we're still doing them. They're a key part of children's education. I don't want there to be an excuse not to run extracurricular activities at Shireland, because we would run the risk of taking fun out of school this year for children and in the coming years, because there will be changes that happen to school as a result of the pandemic that stay here. And I want to make sure that school is still fun, that school is still a place where children can specialise and understand what it is that excites and enthuses them, that makes the academic parts worthwhile. And so we're continuing to run the clubs in a safe environment and in a safe way, but we're continuing to run them so that children get access to those. So what will school look like? Well, one of the things that hasn't changed, and it's actually meant that our current Year 7s have had as normal an experience and transition into Year 7 as we can possibly have, is the fact that we have a specific block for our Year 7 and 8 children where the majority of their lessons will take place. So when your child comes to Shireland next year, 18 hours of their 25 hours will take place in this new block. And so even though we're having to work in bubbles at the moment, we already worked in bubbles for Year 7. We created a school within a school for Year 7 and have done that for the last 10 years. So the experience that the Year 7s are getting is very similar to that they would have received anyway. They have one teacher who teaches them in our Literacy for Life scheme, which if you go on our website you can see it in more details, and I know we've got some videos coming up from our head of year and our senior teachers and some of the staff who will talk to you in more detail about L4L. So go and have a look at those, but know that the experience of your child, for your child, won't be that different regardless of what the pandemic happens. It will be very similar to how it would have been anyway, because we worked in a almost a Year 7 bubble anyway, and over the years into Year 8 it becomes they have less hours in there, and in Year 9 they have more hours in the main school. So we move and create a 3-year transition into the main school, so that by the time they're choosing GCSEs, they are ready and they feel comfortable and confident in the academy. And it's a purpose-built block for them, with the technology that they need, with very big class sizes, where they're able to work collaboratively, where they're able to work safely, and in the confidence that they're not worrying about the older children. So it's a very, very safe environment, and it's one that's recognisable. It feels like a large primary school. So I'm really, really confident that it's an excellent environment and that it hasn't been affected greatly by the issues in relation to the pandemic. And I've mentioned L4L, and I'm not going to spend a great deal of time on this, but we teach them in themes for 18 hours of the week in Year 7, 13 hours of the week in Year 8, and 6 hours of the week in Year 9. And then these other subjects, specialist subjects where they need specialist equipment, such as dance, IT, business studies, social sciences, all of those, they happen through and are delivered through L4L. Some of our specialists like PE and design technology and science take place in other specialist areas. And the Literacy for Life these are some slides that will help you to understand it. But as I've said, I really want you to go and visit our website and go and look at the other videos around L4L that give you a very key information that you need in order for you to have the understanding about how we deliver it. It is very, very different, but again, it is world leading. If it wasn't good, Ofsted wouldn't have rated it outstanding. If it wasn't good, 10 other schools wouldn't have come to us and said, can we have it, and now deliver it in their schools outside of our trust. So schools from other trusts are now delivering L4L because they recognise how strong a transitional project it is, but equally how good and strong an academic project it is. So please go and have a look at those sites so that you can see how it works. As you would expect, one of the key elements of it is technology, and again that gets talked in more detail in the videos that you see, but we deliver it through Microsoft Teams. Every student has their own device that is theirs for the 5 years that they are at Shireland, and the majority of their learning is available to them online. We always have the face-to-face collaboration. We equally use a lot of traditional reading and writing methods as well, but it's really important that we get that blended approach to how we deliver the curriculum for them. It is really important that you understand that the academic rigor of this is very, very strong. We have just completed a review ourselves, an external review, but we've also completed an internal review of the quality of it and the competencies, so that we are confident that it is validated, but equally that the standards of expectation are strong, and we have a very personalised way of approaching the assessments for that. But as I've said to you, one of the really strong elements of this is the support that the students get. So having one teacher who is their form tutor teach them for the 18 hours of the week means that the students get to know that teacher really well, but the teacher gets to know the students of them really well. So one of the things that happened previously was, before we put this in place, the students felt in year 7 that nobody really knew them. And we really wanted to address that, because transition is difficult enough. But having somebody who you feel is looking out for you, or is helping you, or who you can go to ask questions, means that there isn't those barriers to learning, and there isn't that worry and concern. And I will talk about the transition process shortly, but I want you to know that this is that having that one point of contact for students and families is an absolute strength of the programme. We also run things like focus days. Now, focus days for year 7 and 8. They don't see a great deal of difference in them, but as they move through into years 9, 10 and 11, they are very, very different, and they were developed out of the L4L model, where the opportunity to have had extended learning on key factors for subjects, as they do in L4L, we wanted to bring that into Key Stage 4, and it's been very, very successful in departments who love the opportunity to sit and talk about their subject, to talk about aspects of it, and to really go into in-depth learning in it. And those continue. So that element of L4L has now gone up into Key Stage 4 and into year 10 and 11. So what will transition look like? Well, this is the first step for you in terms of making a decision about what school to send your child to, and I do hope that you will choose Shireland. And once we go through that process, then you will have the opportunity to start the transition. Now, what will transition look like next year? Again, it's a big unknown. I'm not really sure. Last year we did it virtually, and our students in year 7 had a number of days where they met their teacher online as a group, and the teacher spent a few days delivering to them, and we started our themes and worked through it. And the feedback from the children has been tremendous in that it gave them an opportunity to get to know their teacher, but also to get to know each other virtually. So worst case scenario, that is what we'll do. If we get the opportunity to run it in the way that we usually do, then I will come out into the primary schools in March, April, May, and talk to the year 6s and the children who've been successful in coming and gaining a place at Shireland, and talk to them about the transition that will happen. That transition will be 3 days at Shireland, where we will have experiences at Shireland for them, and we will run 3 days. And then it will also become summer school, and we will run a number of days of our summer school, and again that will be up to 4 days of transition in the summer at the beginning of the holidays. And again, the idea behind that is that students get to know the staff even better, and the staff get to know the children. And our experience has shown us that the children who engage in summer school really hit the ground running in September, because they understand the process, they understand L4L, they know their teacher, they know their classmates, and they have the confidence to be part of it. So we run a very, very thorough process, because I know that step to sit to big school or to secondary school is a challenge, and what I want to do is remove those barriers so that the children feel confident and comfortable in coming through the door on that first day in September. So they're not worried, they're excited, and they can't wait to get started. And that's one of the things that we will start to do. So, application. Your application for secondary school has to be in by the 31st of October. If you want to apply for Arts Aptitude, and 10% of our places, so 25 places, will be given over to the Arts Aptitude, then that application needs to be in by the 5th of October. And what we want you to do is to fill in an application form and submit it to us and identify what the area of talent that your child has, whether it is art, whether it is music, whether it's dance or drama, and then we will hold a series of interviews and we will select children to come and join us. However, you also have to fill in the general application form. So everybody hopefully will fill in the form, and I hope that you will. If you don't fill in a form, then you will not get an opportunity to come here. Last year and for the last number of years, we have been hugely oversubscribed. We've had upwards of 600 applications for the 250 places that we have available. So I do hope that people will apply and get their applications in early. It is very, very important that I talk to you about the fact that every student who comes here has to sit the examination that we have in place. Now, it isn't an entrance exam, it is a non-verbal reasoning exam. And what that does is it allows us to place children in ability bands. So when the results come in, and it's an examination that we buy, those results go to the local authority who band the children into 5 ability bands. And then we take an equal number of children from each of those bands, and it's based on the distance that children live from the school as the crow flies, based on the ability bands that they're in. And that way it means that we maintain the school as a school for our community, but it equally remains a comprehensive school where we're not just selecting the most able, or we're not selecting people who have got a particular aptitude for something outside of the arts aptitude. It is a fair and rigorous process, but in order to come, you must submit your application by the 31st of October, and you must also, then we will notify you of when the non-verbal reasoning test is, but you must come and sit that. Now at the moment we're looking into how we do that safely, in a safe way, and there will be a number of opportunities, but we will probably be working in school bubbles. So it might be that we will ask each school where we have got a large number of children from that school attending here, that we bring those in on one night, and then we bring children from other schools in on another night. But we will notify you and let you know that. The first bit is, if you feel your child has an aptitude for the arts and you'd like to try for entrance that way, then you fill in the form for that. And then the second bit is making sure that you fill in the online application form through Sandwell, that you fill that out by the 31st of October. So finally, I've tried to get across to you that Shireland is not just about academic progress. We have a high degree of academic rigour, but we are also about the arts and sports. We are different, and I know that, but I also know that that difference makes us stronger. We ask every child in the school to do design technology to GCSE. That is a difference that doesn't happen in other schools, but we do that because I know the skills that they develop in design technology mean that they will be more ready for the world of work. The idea that they have to problem solve, the idea that they have to collaborate and come up with a practical solution to a problem, those are skills that I know from CBI reports that businesses are screaming out for. So we are about the whole school, but we are very, very traditional in some of the ways that we go about this and in about our expectations. And it is a good blend of the traditional and the innovative. And I hope that that then shows you that Shireland is the place that you want your child to come, because I would like to accept as many children as I can in here, because I truly believe that Shireland is a fantastic place to come and learn, and a fantastic place to do your education. My final slide. For more information on this whole process, please go to our website and click on the link. More videos are being uploaded to every day. More opportunities for you to come and see it are going up there every day. So please go and have a look and watch the videos and get as much information as you can. More of my senior staff and more of the Year 7 staff are uploading videos on a regular basis. Also, please go and have a look at our Facebook and our Twitter account, because we're always uploading information on there, and you will get a flavour about what we're doing. And at the moment, there's a lot of information about how we prepared the school to support the children during the pandemic, but there's constant updates, and there will be updates about the virtual events and videos being uploaded, so please go and have a look at it. I know it's a difficult decision. I hope today you've seen you've got a flavour for the school and seen some more information that will help you in making up your mind. thank you for taking the time to listen to what I've got to say. I hope you all stay safe, and I look forward to meeting you all in person as soon as is possible. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care.